Well, new Bakugan season, new big buffed Drago Dragon Daddies. I swear I'm not gay. Yep, today's video I'm going to be talking about Bakugan Battle Planet again. Now, after my first video, we'll talk about my opinion on it after having not seeing it, but only seeing the whole behind the battles and the little teasers and stuff like that. I'm actually going to be talking about my impressions on the two-parter episode, The Origins of Evolutions or Species. I actually forgot the name of the episode while I'm recording this audio right now, but we're going to be talking about the episode. I'm going to be remembering it as I go along. I've already seen the first two episodes. I'm waiting to see episode 3, probably going to watch it on demand or something tomorrow. I don't know, but let's get into the video. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about and get out of the way, let's get the opening out of the way. I like the old one better. The old one had a bit of a catchier tune to it, and I just really liked the flow and the beat of it, and it actually had some really good lyrics to it. This one is Bakugan Brawl. It's a big brawl battle planet, and sort of just repeats that with a few extra lyrics. And I just prefer the old one. It had a better beat, it had a better melody and stuff to it. I'm not a music expert, but I just don't like the way that the battle planet opening goes. Again, I just prefer the old one. I mean, let's take a listen, and you can decide which one you prefer.
What are you gonna do? The odds are stacked against you. Back against the wall, gotta give it your all. This is the final stand. The power's in your hand. Two worlds collide on the inside. Bakugan brawl, it's a big brawl. Bakugan brawl is for it all. Bakugan brawl, standing tall, we're the awesome ones. Powers in our hand, take a stand, saving everyone. Bakugan brawl, it's a big brawl.
So after the opening, we get narration from the new Dan, who's a bit different, but I'm fine with it. Like I said in the other video, I'm completely fine with the character designs. Don't want to talk about that again. But this Dan is explaining how 12 years ago, some weird meteor comet thing struck the Earth, and it was known as the Great Collision. Although after it created like this weird light wave that went throughout the entire world, nothing happened. I'm assuming it caused like a small little quake. But other than that, it didn't cause any mass destruction, no casualties, no injuries or anything like that. It just hit the Earth, caused a crater, and probably a bit of a shake, and nothing else happened, like for 12 years. Now, this then leads up to 12 years later when Dan and his friends come to check the place out and like just explore it a bit for Dan's birthday because he was born on the day of the Great Collision. Coincidence? I think not. Just something weird happens and everything lights up and all their tech and stuff just goes down and shuts down. And this introduces us to the Bakugan, who are sort of, in a way, born, rather than just being straight up found. Well, actually, if I remember correctly, the original had it to where once the cards fell from out of the sky, they picked up the cards, and out of the cards came the Bakugan. And then they started developing the game around it and stuff like that. For this one, the Bakugan are in these like weird little bubble things, and it's more like them being born for the first time rather than being transported from Vestroia. And one of the things in the other episode is that Drago says Bakugan are born to battle, and for some reason in the next episode, besides this one, which I'm not going to show content of because I don't want to get hit with copyright, the Bakugan have this weird obsession where they just want to keep battling for some reason, unlike the original, where the Bakugan were from Vestroia and stuff like that, and New Vestroia, and were just like standard creatures and stuff that just lived there and then just got brought over to Earth, and were just like their own living sentient beings that just wanted to live the life they wanted to. They weren't built around destruction and battling, or were just made to purely battle. It's weird, but I guess I can be okay with it depending on the backstory of where the Bakugan came from. So I guess we're just gonna have to wait until that comes. Another thing I'm having a problem with Battle Planet is the relationship between Dan and Drago, for the fact of how they don't really build it up. When we see original Dan and Drago, they meet, they don't start off well and stuff like that, but Dan wants to try to make it work out, but then they still have their falling outs and their arguments and stuff, and we see them grow together as partners and as friends, while with the new Battle Planet one, we just time skip to about a month or so ago after the whole finding Bakugan and then them developing the Bakugan game and stuff around it, and we just see that they are partners. We don't see them build the relationship between each other and together. We're just being shown that they already are. and it's kind of hard to believe that they are such good friends and that they'll go certain lengths when we're not fully shown how they came to this way. That's a gripe I have right now, is that they don't really show us a relationship between Dan and Drago becoming friends, but they're just already friends. So it's gonna take a while to get used to it, because hopefully in future episodes they show more character bonding and stuff with the two of them and with their other Bakugan. But I just don't like the way this was played out, because you just don't get the sense that they're like full-on best friends, or as best as friends as the original Drago and Dan. You just don't get that sort of sense of feeling since we're not shown them together for a very long time. Okay, time to bring up the next gripe I have with the show. I swear, I'm gonna put what I like after I get the things I don't like out of the way. So don't put in the comments, I completely hate Battle Planet. I don't completely hate it. I really don't hate it at all. I have gripes and dislikes with it, but I don't just full-on hate the show. I'm just getting everything that I dislike about it out of the way first, so that we can end it on a good note with things that I do like, okay? So let's get the rest of the bad stuff. We got 2 more things to talk about. The next thing I'm going to talk about is the design of the new Bakugan, because the original designs for the Bakugan, they actually seemed like animals and other stuff like that, and actual sentient organic beings. But the newer Bakugan look more like they're like robotic and artificial. And people have been saying that as well about the new Bakugan in the anime. They look more artificial and not as real looking as the original ones that looked, and not as animal-like. So it sort of disbelieves the illusion that they were like creatures from another planet. I mean, heck, I don't even know if this Bakugan Battle Planet is going to have it to where they're from Vestroia. We don't know that yet. We don't know what they're going to do with the origins of the Bakugan, since this is kind of very different, like how they came to Earth in the original. But, I kind of have to agree with that. I kind of just don't like how the Bakugan don't look as, like, realistically animal-looking as the original ones. They just look too robotic for me. The actual toy products and stuff, now those work. Those actually look good, kind of, except for, like, Drago one. That one isn't my favorite looking one, but I'm fine with it, because they've made the Bakugan both in the anime and in real life a bit bigger than the original one, so that way they can have more mechanisms and springs and stuff on there to have more intricate working types of Bakugan. And I really do like that idea. It's a good way to make Bakugan more interesting, especially with having up to 3 levels of how difficult the Bakugan can be when folding it back together. And other than that, there's no real problem I have with the designs of Bakugan. Like I said, I just wish they looked more animal looking rather than more robotic like. Okay, so the last final gripe I'm going to mention before I get into the things I'm like and I'm okay with Battle Planet, the final thing I'm going to mention is how the anime is handling the Bakugors so far. Because the Bakugors in real life have different stats, boosts, and stuff like that, and they're actually integrated into the trading card game, because Bakugan Battle Planet has actually made it to where you need an actual deck, because the original Bakugan cards, all you need was like 3 gate cards and like, what was it, like 3 or 4, or like however many ability cards. You don't really need that many ability cards either, and then you could win pretty easily. And now Battle Planet has actually made it a worthwhile trading card game, as far as I've heard. I don't know how the trading card game works yet. I need to watch a video by Negative Legend on his. If I remember to, I will link it down in the description on how Battle Planet trading card game works. But the way the anime handles the Bakugors is you basically throw the Bakugan and it will like land on a tile on core, and it'll start off with its base B power, because they changed it to B power for Bakugan instead of G power, and then the characters will just start running around finding the Bakugors on the ground, grabbing the tiles, and then throwing them and getting them to the Bakugan to boost their power. And the reason I'm not too fond of this is because it reminds me of the action cards, and people like didn't like action cards from Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 because it seemed like a cheap way to always get the character out of the situation when the plot demanded it, because there could just be a random action card lying around that they could grab easily or not easily, depending on how the people wanted the outcome of the battle to go. As of which, these Bakugors don't seem to have too many like standard effects. Again, as far as I've seen, like I said, I've only seen up to episode 2. I haven't seen episodes 3 and beyond. I think it's at least like on episode, I don't know, like 8 or somewhere near there, or maybe I'm thinking of Young Justice. But The cores just feel too much like action cards from Arc 5, and feel just too much as though I just need to find a tile on the ground, grab it, toss it to my Bakugan, and then I can win. And if they have a better tile, I'll just go find another one, bam, just rinse and repeat. It doesn't seem like they put too much strategy into it. Unlike the original, where they actually had to keep using their ability cards to constantly boost, and there was the Pyrus maneuver, if I remember, during episode 3 of Bakugan Battle Brawlers, that involved the strategy of using the gate card's ability, and I think just the ability, yeah, it was the gate card's ability. You could swap the G power from the weakest to the strongest, and that was a legitimate thing you could do because they implemented gate cards and ability cards into the anime and the card game in real life. But Battle Planet is doing that. They're just using the tiles and Baku cores instead of using any types of ability cards and stuff like that. So it's a bit underwhelming. I think I'm saying that right. I might not be, but I don't like it as fondly. Again, it just reminds me too much of the action cards from Arc 5, and it seemed too much like a way to have the plot go certain ways when needed to. Okay, now it's time for my final thoughts, and I'm gonna say what I like about Battle Planet right now. I do like the animation style and stuff that Battle Planet does. It does not look terrible. I do not hate that. The way the Bakugan looks like all the monsters you see in anime nowadays. They have a sort of 3D-like style CGI animation thing to them, similar to what Appmon did with their like Super Appmon and on and upward to that. They actually use the sort of 3D animation style. And a lot of anime just do this because sometimes budget comes into account to where they might not have the money and the time and effort, or mostly the time and money, to put in a whole bunch of animation to actually hand draw it, unlike the original to where every single Bakugan was actually animated normally, like the characters and stuff like that, and not 3D animated. There was only some occasions where certain stuff was 3D animated, but even then, majority-wise of stuff and Bakugan were always standardly drawn, like everybody else. They always were. A small gripe, but I'm fine with it. That's what anime and stuff do nowadays. I'm fine with it. I can go with that. Other things I like is yeah, I got nothing else. I mostly just like the way that the characters look and stuff like that, and how some of the Bakugan's designs are looking as well. But other than that, I'm basically just waiting for Battle Planet to become better. Similar to like the Ben 10 reboot. I started off completely hating it, but over time I just didn't hate it as much. I didn't like it as much as the original, but I could tolerate it, and there were episodes and stuff which I enjoyed about it, similar to Teen Titans Go. Don't full on hate it, I just don't like it as much as the original, but there are some episodes that I like about it. And that's kind of what happens with most of these reboots. People hate it when it just first come out. They give it a bit of a chance, still hate it a bit, but then there are people who like it and stuff like that. And I'm in the majority of that sort of people. I sort of just hate it at first, but then I just keep giving it more chances. I still don't like it for a while, and then I just grow to tolerate it. But Bakugan Battle Planet is something I want to grow to actually like and love as much as the original. I feel as though it might not be as good as the original as it keeps going on, but only time will tell. Like I said, the beginning of this video was basically just me getting out all the gripes and stuff I disliked about it, but there are still things I am looking forward to. Like I said, the animation, some of the jokes are funny, and then again, this show is meant for a younger demographic. While the original was meant for a younger demographic, it did have a serious moments and stuff like that. So, there's not much else I can say about Battle Planet. It's like most of the reboots when they first come out. You have to wait and see how it becomes before you can just judge it immediately and start hating on it. You can still keep hating on it like I did for a bunch of other stuff with the first couple episodes, but I still want to wait and see how it just plays out. No pun intended. I don't think I intended a pun. No. No? Whatever. But let's just wait and see how Battle Planet goes. I'm going to be buying the products and stuff for the channel and hopefully unboxing them when they get here. Because with my area, things come out about a good month or two late, maybe even longer than when they originally released everywhere else. So it's going to take a while, and I don't feel like getting them on Amazon because getting them on Amazon and other websites just cost more than what I can get them here in my area. Anyway, there you go, guys. That was my video on Bakugan Battle Planet and my opinion on it so far after the first 2 episodes of me watching it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like and comment in the section below, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out, watch out for dogs, and do whatever you have to hit that like and subscribe button to show your support for the channel, especially if you're new. Peace out. And don't forget to officially support Bakugan Battle Planet. We'll visit the Bakugan Battle Planet YouTube channel, which I will hopefully link down below if I remember to. And I will also put a link to Negative Legends' video on how to play the card game, which I'm probably going to watch maybe after I do this video. Yeah. Bye. Peace out.